tell me more about like how you got into videography in the first place, because that's not what you've been doing for your entire life.
No,
You've been doing it for how long now?
not at all. I've been doing it full time now. This is our third year.
Okay.
So I've been doing it honestly, like when I was part time, like when I was doing it with Sabrina, even for like the year or two that I worked with her, I didn't know at all what I was doing. She would get the settings, I'd press record. I was a second shooter through and through.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for like honestly like a year. Like I almost say a year is like the last year has like been where I've committed to like learning and growing more so than just the previous knowledge I had, I guess, which was none.
And Sabrina, your wife, she was the one that started the company.
Yeah, she started she started the company her senior year of college. So she started like shadowing with a wedding videographer, and then she got a booking. It was like her cousin's wedding. It was her first paid gig though. So she did hers and like a couple other people while she was still in college.
Yeah.
And that's like why she like chose to not ever work anywhere else. Like that's the only job she's had after college.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she started it and did weddings part-time, but she was pretty active with it.
Was it always video or
Always video. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's always done video. And like started off with a little like Canon, you know, little Zoom recorder, like camcorder and stuff. I mean, they're nice cameras, but yeah, the quality is just so different.
The quality's like just gotten insane like over the course of these years. I mean, my oldest sister, she had her wedding videographer do it, and it was on VHS, bro. Like it was
crazy,
and that was not that long ago. Like
no,
in retrospect,
that have been made are just
it's insane,
like insane.
Yeah,
and are still being made. They get made faster and faster. Like the more advanced stuff gets, the quicker they can make it even cooler,
right. Well,
I guess like.
I do often wonder, like, what kind of do you think like Canon or whatever, any of these brands, like, you think they're sitting on all this, like,
oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah, like for sure, right?
Yeah, they have to have so much stuff.
Well, what blows
that they could put out, but it's like you can't just like you'll have nothing new to put out if you put it all at once.
No, 100%. I know. It's probably similar to like the cell phone industry that, like, you know, cell phone companies, like, you know, they got like way better stuff that like, but
they got like 3D projections that you could have
maybe
coming out of your phone.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, they can't like they have like a very cleared roadmap of and can't
have all of our guinea pigs getting it all at once.
Right. Well, what blows my mind? Blows my mind is that like you know, a $3,000 camera, you pay all that money for the ability to I don't know, shoot like high quality 4K or like 120 frames, you know, per second type of stuff. But these little tiny GoPros do that. They're way cheaper. Like they shoot high, you know, 4K, you know, 120 frames per second. Like, and even the big ones that you pay all that money for, like they end up overheating as a result of it. Like,
I know, it's like, crazy.
What is
well, and I find it funny because like, especially in like low light nighttime shoots, like for a long time, my iPhone, like I don't have to do anything with it. It's all auto. I hit record. It's going to look pretty good.
Yeah.
Whereas a camera, you got to really like work to get a good shot and like know how to manually do stuff. And
yeah. When I first started,
like they're harder to use is what I'm saying.
100%.
Like even than a phone now.
It was so daunting the first time I picked up a camera. Like it wasn't one that I had bought. I borrowed a camera because I wanted to start doing like a YouTube channel thing. And I borrowed my buddy's camera. Actually, I think it's this camera that we're shooting on right now because this is his. I borrowed from him. And just looking at it, going through the menus, like I had no idea. Like the first time I tried to filming something on YouTube or for YouTube, it was like an intro, right? And then I go back and look at the footage, and it's in slow motion. It was like playing back in slow motion. I'm like, how do I get it out of slow motion mode?
Telling me, like dude, some of the stuff that we filmed and put out, it's just like not put out. Like everyone's. Like, it's always been okay, but, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's stuff you just figure out over time.
Right.
And it's like you learn from your mistakes. And sometimes there are big mistakes, like, when you don't know anything about frame rate or
I knew nothing
shutter
about
speed
that stuff.
or, like, anything. Like, you can, it's funny.
So, you've been doing it for about 3 years. You say really, like, feeling like it was, like, your career for the past, like, year or so.
Yeah, and I say that because, like, when I quit my job, because, like, I went to school for finance and worked in it for a few years, and I just hated the 9-to-5 life. It was, like, 1 year of being in it full-time out of school, because, like, while you're still in school grinding away, it's, like, there's a better future ahead of me once I graduate and I start full-time. Well, I'd gotten there, I'd done a year of it, and I'm like, I'm slaving away my life.
What'd you go to school for?
Finance, and I was working at in an investment firm doing like stock trading and stuff.
Was that what you did right before you started doing videography?
Yeah.
So you did that for quite a few
3
years?
years
3
in
years?
total, but a year after college full time. So like the other times I was like an intern, then like part time
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So what made you want to try to do videography? Like what was it? Yeah, bring that mic up a bit.
It keeps falling down.
You got to crank it down.
I gotta really
pretty good.
crank it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna set it really high. Crank it so tight. Ugh.
So tight. Good. Now it's
My
Sophia.
hand just cramped up a little bit. All right, I'm good.
Nice.
What got me out of finance? You were asking.
Well, what made you? What did Sabrina, like your wife? Did she?
Yeah, she hired me.
Hire you,
Yeah,
bring
yep.
you in. Did you have to interview for the position or?
I almost didn't get the job. She was like, "I can't spend all day with you," and I was like, "Please, it'll be nice. I'll stay out of your way." No. Yeah. What got me into videography? I just found I've always had a passion for like journaling and just making memories, and I didn't have videography as a way of doing that because I didn't know about it enough, and I wasn't good enough. I didn't know how to transfer footage, even edit. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much that goes into it that I hadn't even dove into. But like, I've been journaling every day of my life for years, for like 13 or 14 years. Like, I want to record history. I want to have something to look back on, you know, when I'm gone. Like, what's going to be here 100 years from now? And for me, like, video, it was just, that was it. Like, when I saw, like, the success Sabrina was having, like, she was getting busy enough, like, getting her bookings up high enough that I was like, I mean, I worked a job that, like, paid pretty well for a year to, like, save up money to be able to kind of figure stuff out, you know, with our business. And so that was a blessing. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do it without that. But after that year, we sold everything, bought an RV, a truck, and we were going to live on the road, and got pregnant. And then also figured out we like can't even change the light bulb. So like couldn't really renovate an RV. We were like way over our heads on that.
So do you still have the RV?
Oh, we sold it.
Did you actually get to take it out on the road for a period of time, or
only my terrible drives to like mechanics and stuff?
No, dude.
Yeah, no, I drove it on the road a few times, never slept in it. It wasn't anywhere near living ready.
Oh man.
It was a pretty heavy renovation project.
Yeah.
That we got through like the paint job and then ripped the floors out, and we're like, what is underneath this?
See, I love the idea of renovating a van. Actually, like I thought it'd be cool to do like a mobile podcast studio that I could go to, like say a company books or hires me to like produce a podcast for them. Like I have a mobile setup that I could take through them, and like
that's
they
exactly
hop in the
what we
van.
wanted.
Yeah, that's super cool. I don't know that I would want to do the roadie life though. I think it's cool, but I don't think I would want to do that long term.
I think there was like a 3-month period of our life where we thought it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And we were like, we just got to take the risk. We got to dive in.
Yeah. Well, you thought it was going to be
we got to
cool
not adhere to anyone's warnings or anything.
Yeah.
You know, we got to, no one else knows best. We're going to make it work, blah, blah. And yeah, it was a big mistake, but I'm glad we did it,
Sure.
we wouldn't be like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That was a expensive reason.
Yeah.
But
how much did you pay for the RV?
All in all, with everything, it was $35,000 for the truck and the RV.
Yeah.
And now that truck is broken down so many times that it's up to like $50,000. And so like financially speaking, terrible mistake, but it was fun.
Yeah.
We had some good times painting the walls and
and that's a shame that you didn't get to like use it at all.
Yeah, in the year we had it to renovate, we got the paint job done. So it was pretty fun. Good memories. Good memories. Good story.
So do you guys both kind of run the company together? Or do you guys like have different kind of like parts that you like to take care of? Or
I think we were still figuring those out, and I feel like we're kind of in our place with those now.
Yeah.
I think it was like this year was our, like the first year in business, we only had 9 weddings because we were going to be on the road. So we didn't take a lot of weddings. We were going to have like different videography projects we were working on. And then a year of that and like not booking a lot, we're like, dude, I don't even know if we can keep this business going. I might have to go back to work. Like that was kind of the vibe. I had not taken on as big of a role in it at that point in time, just because for me, it was like, I almost didn't even know where to go to learn. This is going to be a shout out to my mentor. And then in January of 2022, we joined like a wedding program, Alexander Ma, Wedding Filmmaker Mastery. And I'll just send this to him. Maybe he'll give me something for free. I'll get to like go to Ireland with him or something. Like, but no, I joined a wedding program, and like I just can't even speak enough about paying for education in any field you're in. But if I wouldn't have done that, like our business wouldn't. Well, one, like absolutely wouldn't be where it is today.
Yeah.
Two, like might not even be here to the extent, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I might be back working a different job, but like that really changed it. And I think that kind of put me in a much more like confident leadership role, because I now knew the steps that I needed to start taking. Cause like I wanted to grind, I wanted to work hard, I wanted to be good. I just didn't know how to get there. So
how long would you say after you went through the course that like you immediately saw like benefits from it?
I don't know if it's just luck of the draw or what, but we had like one of our biggest booking months the month we started it.
Wow.
Just by using some of the sales advice that he has. And then, I mean, now our whole business is kind of ran through his program, like all of our CRM systems, websites, automations, our conversations, the way we film, the way we edit. Like,
so, I mean, he sells a pretty like this is how you do it, and you can follow those steps like to the T. And it's just a strategy that works, right?
Yep, for $6,000.
Yeah, well,
best money I've ever spent.
I mean, like you're charging that much for
I've
for
made that
one
back.
weddings.
I've made that back. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like at the beginning of the year, like our average booking was half the cost it is now.
Yeah,
like half. So like being able to raise our prices 2 times the amount plus that they were. I mean, we had weddings we filmed this year that were like $2,500 weddings. And now we're, having $7,000-8,000, but it's been crazy. It's been a big year of growth.
Yeah.
But
so you guys do weddings primarily.
Yeah.
Right? That's like that's your bread and butter.
That's our bread and butter. That's what we advertise. That's what's on our site. That's kind of like we were talking about earlier. That's kind of what we've specified as our business, and we love it. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people have mixed feelings, but we love weddings.
Yeah.
Like I love weddings. Sabrina loves weddings.
I think one of the things that other videographers, and certainly me as well, struggle with weddings is they tend to be a more stressful environment to shoot in.
Yeah,
everything is like happening so fast. Like you have one opportunity to get the shot, and if you miss it, you miss it. So like I don't know, how do you guys deal with that kind of like stress? Like, is that a hard thing for you?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. It's gotten easier.
Yeah,
it's gotten easier with time, and it's gotten easier with just kind of the repetition of weddings.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that we do to kind of avoid situations, like conversations we have on the wedding day, explaining, like pause here versus keep walking down the aisle, to like just give yourself extra time, but yeah, there's definitely that stress aspect of it.
That's a good point. I bet it's a lot building expectation before you actually get to the wedding day, like
100%.
When you're actually shooting, like talking and building a relationship with these bride and grooms, like, and having them know and understand like what you're trying to achieve and kind of what it's going to take to get that like type and quality of video, meaning like you might have to act a little bit or do something over again if we if we miss something or whatever, and we have to have the time to be able to do that. I can see how that would like be incredibly helpful at alleviating at least some of that stress, because if you go into a wedding shoot where like nobody knows what's going on and you're just like a fly on the wall trying to like capture shots and try and make it into something that's cinematic and beautiful. Yeah, it's tough.
It's hard, and I would almost say it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like when you watch good wedding films, when you watch those cinematic, candid looking wedding films, those in the moment, beautiful films, none of that's in the moment. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. None of that hardly ever happens. Sometimes you'll get just like a really fun bridal party or someone that's just like naturally sitting at the poker table playing or like doing shots or like, doing fun stuff together. But
the odds of that many perfect things happening in a period of 12 hours or whatever, and being in the right spot at the right time to capture it perfectly, zero.
Yeah, but that's a big difference, and something that kind of sets apart going with any company for a price point, which sometimes you need to do. Like, I'm not bashing that, but for clients that want just want a certain quality of film, like you're getting a certain quality of videographer. Like that's what makes a difference of like knowing who's going to be there on your wedding day, like seeing, like hearing how they talk and like setting those expectations. So like I feel like that's something I let brides know that even like we're out of their budget or like we're booked or something. It's like I like giving them questions to ask and like conversations to kind of cover before the wedding day.
Yeah.
Because you don't want somebody there that's a fly on the wall, not saying anything. Like they won't get the content that you need to tell the types of stories we do with wedding films, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Probably they're booking you because they saw a video that you put out too.
Yep.
Which kind of gives them an expectation of like what they think their is going to look like and what is required to get there.
For sure.
Yeah. How do you guys, so like it's a pretty competitive market, right?
Very. Yeah.
Right.
I would say oversaturated.
Oversaturated.
Yeah, no.
Wedding industry specifically. Would you say there's a lot like oversaturated? You know what? We're gonna try to fix your mic real quick.
Okay.
Pause.
So with it being such a saturated market, like how do you guys kind of like stand out and get work in such a like what makes your brand, I guess, kind of different to make you guys stand out from the pool of videographers people can choose from?
That's a good question because like when you say a pool to choose from and kind of where I'm coming from like an oversaturation standpoint is a lot of times people are getting their clientele or trying to from like Facebook groups and stuff like that. But you have a bride saying, I need a videographer for this day. You'll have 100 comments. Like, so it's very hard to stand out in that regard because it is so oversaturated. So, I mean, a lot of it is just establishing relationships with people.
Yeah.
Before you even get into like anything. So one of our biggest, like before you get into any conversation or even let them know you do videography, that's been a big game changer for us for finding like quality people that value our work, that are fun to talk to, is just establishing like connection with them. So if we see someone engaged on Instagram, just reaching out saying, hey, congrats on your engagement. And then they say thanks, you know, and just like start a conversation, and it might be months or, you know, just try not to push it, I guess, with them, with people has helped in that regard. But as far as standing out, it's a good question because there's so many sites you can advertise on. There's so many ways to run ads. There's so many ways that people are trying to get bookings, and that's where it's oversaturated.
Well, I mean, oversaturated would mean that there's more videographers than there are weddings to fill the positions. I mean, so do you feel like that's actually the case, or do you think that there's so much work out there that there's just enough work for everybody to get?
I think that there's, you know, if there's 100 videographers in St. Louis, I mean, there's way more. If there's 100 videographers, 90% of them are doing it. This is just a guess, but just with prices people are offering and stuff like that, I think many times people are doing it part-time. They have a camera, they've done a couple weddings, they have a site maybe, and that's kind of what they're pushing. And those are the people that are like, I can do photo film for 10 hours for $1,000. And it's like mind-blowing to me because you couldn't run a business off that, like a sustainable full-time business, you know?
Yeah. I bet a lot of people do it part-time, meaning, I mean, especially with weddings, because they're almost always on the weekends. So it's probably something that people can do and run a full-time job normally as well.
But I think what saved us, like in today's time, because I think there's more videographers and photographers now because it's becoming more popular. You see it all over. People are paying more money for it. So a lot of people are trying to get into the business. And I think it would have been a lot harder to get started now than, like, Sabrina did all the dirty work. You know, she did all the hard, like building clientele, getting equipment, like getting started. I kind of came in on the easy part because you're kind of in a new market. We're kind of out of that Facebook market price that, 100 vendors are commenting on. Those brides that post are mostly they're price shopping for the most part.
Yeah.
To where we, like, thankfully have kind of gotten into a next level of clientele that, like, is knowing they're going to spend money, but to get the value that we provide. And I think what helps us stand out is we're starting to get to that quality with our video. And, like, I mean, we've never had a bride complain about a film, like, not like their film. Like, every film we do is at this point getting substantially better. Like every wedding film we do, we're trying to learn and get so much better that I almost feel like now we're at a low price point for the films being delivered. It's like people delivering similar quality films can be charging 10, 15K. You know, we're all kind of in that luxury bride market now.
Yeah.
So I think what helps us stand out is price-wise is like that we're kind of on the more affordable luxury end. You know, I don't know if that kind of answers. I know what you're asking. There's so much that you do to stand out.
Yeah.
It's a hard question.
And I guess it depends on, I mean,
social media, I'd say that's the place to stand out. Like we try to post reels every day, just little like 10-second clips of weddings.
Yeah.
That's a really fun way to like show bride and groom their footage. Like after a wedding, it's just putting those 10-second reels out and just every day, just like making your presence known, even if it annoys people. Like they're like, I see your post every day. Like, you know, just blowing up people's feeds so that in a year when they do get engaged, like we're on their minds.
Yeah.
I would say social media is a big way we've tried to stand out.
Do you think a lot of your work comes from like word of mouth, brides previously telling people about what you've working with you guys, or?
Yeah, at this point, for sure. Like most of our work, I would say most of the people that inquire, we still got a lot of inquiries through like Facebook and stuff. But most of the people that end up booking that like take Zoom meetings with us that are like confident moving forward, it's because they've either been referred or they saw a video. Like we're getting into like siblings of people we've worked with before now that we've been going long enough. So like that's a really cool kind of transition. It's like, man, that mom loved us 4 years ago. So like,
so it almost seems like it's less of standing out and more of like building a network,
building a tribe. That's what,
of people that are following you specifically, and they're basically selling you to, you know, the people that would need a wedding done. And it also, like, I imagine if you're going to spend $6,000 on a wedding, like the more you feel like you're close to the videographer, like, you know, that's going to be doing that work for you, probably the better. Like if you're getting it as a referral from a friend and like, you almost feel like you're closer to that person, even if you've never met them before.
Referrals are the way to go. Yeah. And I mean, and a lot of our business has been referral based the last year, and it makes you feel so good about what you're doing too. Cause like we pour our hearts into like what we do, and like we want to meet our couples. We want to get to know them beforehand. Like we want to be friends with them and like cheer them on in marriage afterwards. Like we really want to like build connections, cause like we're creating a video for like the coolest day of someone's life. We're giving them the coolest film they'll ever have of themselves. Like this is the film they're going to show great grandkids someday. Like this is your film of like the biggest day of your life. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the fact that we get to like spend that with someone, like be a part of those emotions. Like I don't want to go into a wedding day without feeling that. I want to like cry during your vows because like we're friends now, you know, like for real, you know, and like we're friends with a lot of our couples like after we film their weddings. And that's like what it's all about. Not even from a business standpoint. It's like, that's why I love videography. I love like owning our own business. It's like, you just literally be a light to anyone you're around, you know?
Yeah.
It's like make connections. Like any person you talk to, any time you're nice to somebody, you don't know what's going to come from that.
And you're creating a very intimate memory for them.
Absolutely.
You know, through the film that you actually produce.
Yeah, when I'm under your veil with the three of you and I'm third wheeling down there.
Now kiss.
Yeah, that's intimate. I'm a foot away from you while you're making out under the veil. Like, yeah, it's pretty intimate.
When I've been doing like some of the culling and stuff, you know, for you guys' videos, it's I think the first video I was like, it blew my mind how many times you guys are like, okay, now kiss.
Oh man,
dude, they had no idea how many times they were going to be kissing that day.
Oh, no idea. Yeah, and it's so funny. Like our wedding we had recently, they were gonna wait until the ceremony to kiss, but they did a first look and all their portraits, and I was like, guys, I hate to break this to you, but I was like, you're gonna want some kissing portraits. Like that's like half our proms. So I was like it's all up to you. But I was like, if you just want to like make out now, like let's get it over with. And they were like, yes. And
now
like
kiss her hand.
Yeah, I was like, you guys want 3 more hours of kissing? Like, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but no, it is funny. That's one of my least favorite parts is when I'm editing and I'm culling and I'm listening to my prompts and I'm listening to the horrible things that I say that I don't even, not horrible in a bad way, but like, all right, going for a warm, snuggly hug. And I'm just like, I'm listening to that and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm cutting that audio
I
out.
think one of the
raw
videos
footage.
I saw you,
Oh, no.
one of the prompts that you said,
Oh, no, don't do it to
that
me.
made me laugh for quite a long time. You had the couple together, and you told him to go into lean in close, and I want you to whisper real sensually what your favorite cereal is in her mouth, not in her mouth, in her ear. And I just thought that was such a funny prompt. Like tell her what your favorite cereal is, but do it real sexy.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
And I just wonder what he said. Oh, yeah, maybe Captain Crunch, you think?
Captain Crunch is popular. We always ask people what they said, and like that's like the first thing in so many people's mind.
Maybe it's just an easier one.
You haven't probably eaten Captain Crunch in years.
No,
I mean,
dude.
maybe you have.
Wait,
I don't know.
Captain Crunch is the cinnamon one, right?
That's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon
Captain
Toast
Crunch is the captain, and it's like little yellow pieces. I don't know. They've had
almost
different
like,
variations.
It's like a corn puff type
They've
thing.
It's like corn puffs, and
Like
they have the
Kix,
little
but with
usually
different
like
shapes.
circular colored.
We never got any like the super sweet cereals growing up. Like the sweetest thing we got was like Kix. Every once in a while, you get.
Kix
are for
Are
kids.
those apple ones?
No, Kix were like
that's
little.
No.
Oh, Trix, not Kix. My bad. Trix. Yeah, Trix are for kids.
Trix are for kids. No, Trix is a yogurt.
No,
Trix is that bunny yogurt.
No, it's definitely Trix as a kid because it was a bunny rabbit that was like, Trix are for kids. Silly rabbit.
Yeah, silly rabbit. That was a cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a yogurt thing.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
definitely
sure it's
cereal.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
No, but so what would you say you love the most about videography as a whole? Like beyond just weddings or whatever, just like the art of making video. Like, what is your favorite part about that?
There are so many parts. Videography as a whole, or wedding videography
As a whole, just like what do you love about having a camera in your hand?
The answer is the same for me. I love all that. I love filming. I love being home with my wife and kid, editing all day. Like everything's great. I have the coolest job. Like we have the coolest job. Like you're doing it too. It's the coolest job. But like my favorite thing is just giving the final product. Like giving that to them after like a month or two, 3 of anticipation. Like they don't even know what's coming because like, you know what I mean? Like no one knows how to like put together that video. You watch it and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's my day.
Yeah.
Like I remember my father of the bride speech. It was nothing like what you just made it sound like. You know what I mean? Because we're chopping up audio and we're using it to tell a specific story. And like, it is just so satisfying because we've been having our couples record themselves while they watch it. And like, that's been so cool. Like seeing the smiles here. And I'm like, I mean, it's awesome. Like seeing tears, like everyone cries on the camera while they're watching it. Like it just makes me so happy to be able to give somebody that film. And that's the way it is for anything in videography. Like I take videos all the time. Like a family reunion, I take videos and make a little video for family. Like people just love having that to hold on to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, that's a great answer. I feel like that's probably the same for me. Like it's really tough, like making content and pouring yourself into it, to not have anybody see it. Like when I first started doing YouTube, I mean, it was taking, 15 hours probably to produce one 15-minute, video. Like it was a serious part-time job, and I'd post it, and like I'd get so excited. I'd be checking every day to see, what kind of like views it's getting. Nothing, dude. It's not like
the heartbreak.
Nobody's even seeing it.
Yeah,
it is. It is like tough because like the thing you want is like for people to watch it and either get a laugh out of it or for it to like fulfill its intended purpose. Whatever that purpose may be. So. Yeah, I feel like that's probably like one of the biggest things for like most videographers, right? Is like having your video reach the audience that it's supposed to reach and give them some sort of whatever emotion they're supposed to feel as a result of it.
Yeah. I would say that's the biggest thing. Another one of my favorite things about videography and especially weddings is like I just love making like weddings are interesting because it's kind of that stress thing. Like you're not there with trained models. You're not there picking out your shots or anything. you know, it's all like in the day. And I love like in the day making people just feel happy and comfortable and at ease.
Yeah.
And just having fun with it. Like there's ways you could post people and get shots, and like people we work with, you know, we've worked with people that there's just different ways to do it. We have a lot of fun with it. Like we want people to like be laughing, crying during it. We want them to feel confident. Like we want the bride like to get sexy shots of herself, like cool lookups and, you know, flowers, and like we want people to feel beautiful. So I love that we've been doing it long enough that we feel so confident and comfortable during like photo shoots.
Yeah.
That it's just a fun experience for the other people too. Like I love at the end of a shoot, someone's just like, I had so much fun today. Like, thanks for, you know, posing us so well. Like, I feel beautiful. Like, or, you know, it's just that part's really cool.
Being a good director, I think, is like a whole nother skill set. And, you know, being good at like capturing good video.
Yeah.
And directing people, like the first thing that you have to do, and what you said was like, kind of get people to take their guard down.
Oh yeah.
Just relax a little bit. Like this is gonna be fun. Like nobody's trying to like make people uncomfortable. Like we're all just like hanging out. You know, I have a camera. I know it's weird. You know, but like we're just hanging out, bro. Like that's making it all feel natural and just like fun. That's a skill, and that's hard. That's hard to achieve. So yeah.
It is. That's why when I walk in, the first thing I do, I walk into the guy's room. I have him pour shots. I have him give him a toast. And then I say, I missed it. I have him do it again. And I'm just like, you got to get a little bit buzzed because you're going to be touching each other and jumping in arms. And, you know, you got to have fun with it.
Yeah. So weddings are your bread and butter. Is it something that you ever want to branch out of and do other things? Or do you feel like weddings would be a fulfilling thing to do like for the rest of your life as a videography career?
That is a question unanswered right now. Honestly, wherever life takes us, you know, like whatever we feel called to do. I think right now it's weddings. Because it's just, we just have such an intimate connection with the people we're working with. It pays the bills as well. Like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like we don't get paid the same doing other projects as we do for weddings. So from like a financial standpoint, weddings are a really good place to be. Like there's just money in them. I think my dream would be to keep growing our wedding business to the point where I just have the option of whether or not I want to keep working in it. So I want it to be able to be sustained without me, but keep running if I want to keep doing weddings.
Yeah.
And then at that point, and that's, I mean, within a 3-year plan, like is where I'd kind of like that to be.
Yeah.
To where we're getting enough weddings, but we have the team built up. We have editors, videographers, photographers, to where I don't have to do weddings if I don't want to, you know, miss Franklin's soccer game on a Saturday, or because that's the thing that we are looking into as he gets older. It's just weekends. Like, I don't know if I want to be spending weekends the rest of my life working. That would be the only thing though. Other than that, I love weddings, but I also just want to have the flexibility to do work, like videography work and passion projects that I don't have to get paid on. I don't need that money. I have the free time and I can just go and film whatever I feel like needs to be filmed, you know?
Well, as a question I was going to ask is if money weren't a factor and like you weren't needing to make a profit off of it.
Yeah.
What type of passion project would you like love to do? Would it be like a documentary? Would it be like?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. It'd be documenting people's lives, honestly. So our golden memories that we started, it would be, that's a big passion project of mine, is recording the stories and getting kind of the older generation just on camera, asking them the questions that you're not going to be able to ask when they're gone, you know?
Yeah.
Having them tell the story of their childhood, how they met their spouse, talking about their grandkids, great-grandkids, all that. Like capturing those moments on film so that people's legacies don't go away. Like an individual person's legacy can live on through film.
Yeah.
I would say that would be a passion project of mine.
I think that's so cool. And that's similar to something that I wanted to do with podcasting was Grandma down the road has incredible stories that nobody's going to get to hear because nobody's going to invite her onto a podcast because like everyone's trying to get into podcasting to like interview, be on the Joe Rogan show or whatever.
Yep.
And there's a whole bunch of people out there that have just as incredible of stories that just don't have as big of a name, And,
Absolutely.
I would love to I love having conversations with anybody, particularly people that have a generation of experiences to tell about.
Oh man, and when you say a generation of experiences, the wisdom that you get from those, like, I've never left an interview with like a golden memory interview. Like, I've never left without feeling something. I mean, I walk away and I'm just like, man, I just gained knowledge. I just got insight to someone's life. I just like lived their experiences.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool, and it's just average people,
Yeah.
But
it's like, even if I think about my own, grandparents, like, truth be told, I don't actually know a whole lot about them because they don't post their entire lives. Like, there's not a trail of, content and video that go along with, like what kids are growing up in now, like where your entire life is out there, it's posted, like you can figure out so much about somebody just by reading their Facebook posts and profile. When you don't have that. You don't have that with that older generation.
You don't have it. And even like with our parents' generation, like they were still brought up some points with cell phones.
Yeah.
They had cameras available. They have videos. They have audio recordings of themselves, possibly. They have just something, They don't maybe have an edited video like we make of someone.
Right.
But they have something that people can look back and know who they are. If I was to have to find out information about my great grandpa, I'd have nothing, So if I could have just even a video, like a 20-minute, 30-minute video of him telling his life story, telling about his experiences, who he is, where he came from.
Yeah.
When was my grandpa born? What was that like? And just things like that, that would mean so much.
Yeah.
And you can't get that after someone's passed away. So like, that's like a passion project that I'd want to start tomorrow. If money weren't a factor and I could just go out and film for anyone, that's what I'd want to do. Cause like people are passing away, and once they're gone, it's like you have what you have of them, and like people don't do their due diligence to like record their family. People don't think about that.
Right.
So
I love it.
Yep. That and homeless people. I love those videos where you just like I have homeless friends all over St. Louis because every day when I go to Panera, I get an extra coffee, and I go, because I get free coffee, I just steal an extra one. Don't tell them. Anyway, but it's for a good cause. But yeah, then I just go around and I find one of my friends on my drive home, and like I've made connections with people. I have people's cell phone numbers. I'll like text them, like, give them
That's
like,
awesome.
Anytime I get gift cards for gifts or anything, I just keep all my gift cards in my car. And if it's like something they can, not like an AMC gift card, but like, well, I'd give that away. Like, they want to go see a movie, but like if I have food gift cards, I just pass those out. And it's just kind of like, it's not even your money at that point. And there's so much you can do, like keeping bottles of water on the back of your car.
Yeah. I used to keep bottles of water and like hand warmers, especially, and things like that I could pass out. Like things that, money's important to be able to, but it's also important just to be able to stay warm while you're out there and things like that. So the homeless thing is like incredibly heartbreaking, and also feels incredibly hard to figure out what to even do about it. Like other than, well, yeah, you can give them gift cards and whatever, bottles of water, but like it doesn't really like make homelessness go away.
No,
which is really, really tough. Like I feel like in the city, like people are more likely to take in a stray dog than help a homeless person actually like in a meaningful way.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I wish there was a bigger community to like, I don't know, get behind actually like making a bigger difference. Somehow.
Well, and that's the thing. It'd be so easy to make a difference. Like there's so many people that just drive by every day that maybe are good people, maybe want to do something, but don't know how. So like what I would do like video wise with that is like hang out for a day with someone new, like one of the homeless people, like get a haircut, like do all those things, like, and then just ask how they need help, like set up a Venmo account for them, like post that, like get enough following that like people can just send whatever they want to help, and like I spend one day with someone, make a video, and maybe they make $1,000, and it's like that just is like would do so much for them. You know what I mean? So yeah,
totally.
But
have you you strike me as kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. Is that something that you've always kind of had?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Always. Have you always kind of dreamed about like running your own kind of business or like just doing your own thing? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I was in finance, like in school, like why I chose that is because I didn't want to work for a job in finance. I just wanted to know how to manage finances. I wanted to know how to invest so that that can be a side thing that I do. And just, so that's kind of why I went that route. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, do you feel like that's helped you a lot in?
No. I was in the military, so I got like free college and like made money for going to college, and I had like scholarships, so I got like $8,000 a semester for just like attending school. No, $4,000 a semester, but every year just for going to school, and then like I got my GI Bill and all that stuff. So like I like made money just for being in school. That if I wasn't in school, I wouldn't have gotten that money. So I was like, I might as well just get a degree. Yeah. But like I never really wanted to go to college or like work a corporate job. Like There was a time where like finance bro Aaron that was like 40 pounds heavier and depressed.
Finance bro
and an
Aaron.
Alcoholic, you know. There was a time where he was like enjoying the finance lifestyle and thought maybe corporate ladder would be my path. But
you kind of strike me as a guy that could be like a car dealer.
Yeah. I've been a lot of things. I've had too many jobs, but
or a UPS driver. I think you could pull off the brown shorts. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can just buy a pair. I just want to see if they work. Yeah, my funniest business that I had was after my concussion, and I was on bed. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything, and so I got my little brother and all of his little friends to make duct tape pens. So I would buy 10 pens for $1. Duct tape was like $3.50. They would roll duct tape, put little flower petals on the end. They had like an assembly line sweatshop. Like my 12-year-old brother and like 6 little neighborhood kids in my garage one summer. And I made like $10,000 a profit in like 2 months.
Selling pens?
Duct tape pens. So what we do is I paid them $1 for every pen created. They were making like in the busy season, they were making like $20 an hour if they were grinding.
I was going to say that's pretty good margins.
Yeah. So it would cost me about like I'd pay them $1. It'd cost me about like $1.25-ish per pen. That's like what I figured in, but it was like around there. And then I'd pay my brother 20% of all the sales he made, because then when we had a bag of 1,000 pens, we'd take a road trip for a weekend down to St. Louis because I had a place in Edwardsville. We'd just drive around St. Louis for 8 hours, make $1,000.
So you were just selling them to people on the streets?
Restaurants.
Little
12-year-old cute boy.
Okay, so that was okay.
He'd walk in with a big bucket. Yeah. It was 1 pen for $4, 3 pens for $10.
He was like, "Please, sir, buy a pen."
We'd pull up at a strip of restaurants. There'd be like 6 restaurants in a row. I was like concussed to bed rest. Like it would take everything I could to like drive to a place without blacking out. And then I'd get there. I would just like close my eyes for like 30 minutes. He'd knock on my door and just have like so much cash. And then I would always like buy all the food and like take him to do fun things in exchange. So, like if we sold $1,000 worth of pens, basically I would make roughly like $1.50 for every pen sold. So we sold like 9,000 or like
oh
I don't know, like 6,000-7,000 pens. And we did it for about 2 months, and we'd only sell 1 or 2 days a week. Like this is like if I ever have no other job, I could travel the country selling pens.
Well, you have to use kids though.
You do. I tried going in a few times when my little brother wasn't free.
Yeah.
You got to use kids. Yeah, no one wants to buy pens from me. But yeah.
Oh my God, dude, that's so funny. I can't believe how well you did.
Yeah. And I actually did okay selling them myself because I would just like make up stuff. So like one time I was up at, this is terrible because I'm talking about my business. This is past Aaron. I'm a very, but yeah. Oh man, I have so many stories from that, but let's go to the next topic.
We'll have to tell some more stories on another one. So we were talking about this a little bit off camera, but how do you feel like, and are you worried about artificial intelligence and how fast things are growing in the AI field of audio, video, like everything really.
I just don't even know.
Yeah.
You just can't even know.
No.
Right now, I'm excited because I love all the AI coming out. It's made certain parts of our job
Easier.
so much easier, like monumentally easier, like
Yeah.
cut back on like time spent on so many things. Like it fixes my audio.
Yeah.
It like puts a really good edit on photos. Like there's
Yeah.
so many just incredible things time saver wise that like right now I love it.
Yeah.
How worried am I? I don't know, because the videography aspect, that's always going to be a skill that, at least right now, they don't have like robo flying drones that have an 8-hour battery life that can do all that. So like I think that's far in the future, but I think people could slap a bunch of 300 shots into AI and it gives back a highlight film. That's the technology that would be just different.
Well, the thing is, though, those shots still have to be of good quality.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, maybe like what I think you guys are at like a higher tier that aren't as susceptible to some of these changes, because like you're getting shots that are just higher quality than someone with no knowledge about how to frame things, how to, have the proper things in the background, like, how to just get these kinds of shots and how difficult it actually is. But like, I guess one of the big things that's kind of closing in is like cell phones are getting so good with taking video and photo now that like it's hard to tell anymore like what's shot on a fancy DSLR.
When you can shoot 4K 60 frame per second on
your
an
phone.
iPhone.
Yeah. So I feel like that's going to create a market where there's a lot of really cheap videographers and photographers that are a grade below for sure. But I mean, maybe that's their market though.
Yep. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, why I'm so thankful that like this year we've kind of established ourselves a little more as like cinematic and a little more luxury. Like we're delivering something now there's a difference. Like there's cheap and then there's like a luxury style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's people in the middle of that too. And like that's kind of where we've been growing, like through that middle. But that middle is kind of hard because you get a lot more rejection. You get a lot more ghostings and people that you're like, people that are paying more money, that have the money to pay what they're going to pay. They just want quality work. They trust you to go do a good job. They're really like lovely to work with most of the time,
Seems like almost every industry universally, like the cheaper that somebody wants to pay you, probably the more of a nightmare that it is that they're going to be to work with.
Yeah.
That seems to be kind of a universal thing.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, it is very prevalent.
Yeah.
For sure with like videography, I would say. But yeah, I'm glad we're out of kind of that market because I think AI is going to get cheap, is going to cause people to be able to get their price down.
Yeah.
Because they're not having to work as much.
Yeah.
So the brides are going to be able to get so much more for such a lower cost than before, because somebody could charge nothing. And like, if they know how to get good shots, they can go out with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I could film a wedding on an iPhone, like
Totally. You could.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really change. Like, that's just the camera, that doesn't really change. And iPhones these days aren't even that cheap, like we think of it as like being a much cheaper alternative, but like, it's actually not. It's just a more multi-use
you can send
purchase.
text off it.
It's a camera, like, but yeah, that doesn't really change like the need for someone that knows how to get good shots. So what would you say is like the next, I don't know, tier for you guys if you were kind of like move up to another level? What would it take to be at that level, and what would it look like?
What it would take is that kind of tribe creation, just networking, because the people that are in the, I guess, higher price bracket, they're getting married at places that have their wedding planners, they have their preferred vendors, they have, like, it's all connections, like they're only going to refer people that have been there and done incredible work. It's hard to kind of get into those luxury venues in St. Louis. So I think the next step is kind of what we're doing, just like meeting and making connections with people we talk to, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes our business a lot more fun. Like when we're at a wedding and we can just be ourselves and be comfortable and be chill and be nice to our vendors, and then connections just sprout from that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a lot of messaging venues all the time, just over and over. Anytime I see a post, being proactive on Instagram, liking, commenting, sending messages, being like, I loved this, and starting conversations. That's what's going to take it to get to the next level, is just making really good relationships with people that are in the position you want to be in, you know, working at the places you want to be at.
Is there a stylistic or like a quality that is a grade above that you would love to get to? Would it be like an equipment thing, or like a a specific look to your edits, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know what you're saying. Equipment wise, I used to think that was a bigger deal until I found out my mentor is using the same equipment as me. So then I'm like, all right, it's a skill thing, you know? Wow. So equipment wise, I think this year we've upgraded enough stuff that I'm very content with where we're at. There's always going to be new lenses, new cameras, new lights, you know, new toys, stuff you're buying. But there isn't anything right now equipment wise that I would need to get to the next level. At this point, the biggest thing, I mean, editing's huge. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, a better editor than myself could take my same footage and make something different, you know? Yeah. So editing, there's always room for growth. Right now, I would say day of shooting is what I want to get better at, is setting up shots kind of the next level. Like I was saying earlier, like having a groom's jacket on a chair and having him walk into the room while I pan around, you know, like setting up cool shots more so than just like having, you know, the best man put the jacket on. It's like creating a whole ambiance, you know, creating like more transitional movements that I can incorporate to tell the story better, and that I know planning out my shots better, even more than we are doing now. You know, really going into an idea of shots I need that I need to get for my edit, which we already do, but just there's so much room for that, for growth. Yeah. Like I see stuff in people's films and I'm like, man, that shot looks so beautiful. You know, like I would never even think to do that. Mm-hmm. But now, like, you know, I'm just taking notes and I'm remembering it so I can get it at my next wedding, you know? Yeah. Stuff I like, but yeah.
Cool. Last thing, what advice would you give to someone that wanted to get into videography and like start their own company? Maybe something that, you know, you dealt with that was like a kind of a shock moment or whatever, like, oh, I have to learn this or whatever, like, or, you know, was it, you know, getting a mentor? Like what would be the biggest advice you'd give to somebody that wanted to get into it?
Getting a mentor. You said it, like, and I don't mean necessarily paying for a course, you know, if you don't have if you're starting out and you're like, I can't afford to pay to learn something I'm not even getting paid for yet. Yeah. You know, maybe a paid mentorship is further down the road once you've gotten stuff, but however it is, just educate yourself, like learn from people that are doing it. Yeah. And also just know that the community is, I mean, it's a community of people that are all artistic. They're all in it together. They're all trying to run their own business. Yeah. So just reach out to people, like make connections. Yeah. And don't view people as competitors. Like view people as like people you're going to work with in the future, you know? Yeah. Is a huge thing. Like just ask people for advice, like ask to meet up and do styled shoots. Like the amount of stuff I've learned from you, like doing weddings with you, like having you there, like I've learned so much about lighting and my camera and equipment. Like, you know a ton about that. Like, you know.
Yeah. The community thing is huge. Like, yeah, you can spend a lot of money on courses, and I think it is good to buy courses and, you know, mentorships and all that. Yeah. Like I bought a course, full-time filmmaker, and I loved it. I learned so much things like on YouTube prior, but it was so compartmentalized. what's the word I'm looking for?
Compartmentalized.
Decompartmentalized.
Is that a word?
Is that right?
Uncompartmentalized.
Uncompartmentalized. That sounds wrong coming out. Anyway, look, it's like
wrong.
just scattered. Like it's really hard to find the information that you're actually looking for on YouTube. It's there, but it takes a long time to find it. And spending money on an actual course that was well put together and just kind of like laid out the plan for me to be able to follow was massive. And then even more on top of that, like having access to now like the Facebook community, which is very active. You can ask them any question and they would love to answer it for you. And about 3,000 people want to answer it in a probably different way, but
no, they will. Yeah.
But that's huge. Like just kind of being in putting yourself in the world, putting yourself in the world, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you feel dumb making a post, you might even get told you're dumb for making the post, but you're going to learn, know, if you post a question to a videography group, you're going to get answers like, So there's infinite ways to meet people and to learn. So just take advantage of it. Like learn before you just sit down at a computer and start building your site and start messaging people. Like learn how to do it. Because that will set you apart, Yeah. That will make a big difference. Cool, man.
One more advice for people getting started.
What's that?
Don't always you're not always maybe worth what you think you're worth. And that was like a lesson we've had to learn the hard way. What I mean by that is if you set your prices at something because your work is worth that, if you're starting out and somebody's on a lower budget, take it. If you need to do free work so that you can start getting film gigs in the next month or two, take them. Because, what are you going to be doing with your time otherwise? You're going to be at home not learning as much as just going out and doing it. And then, everything you do, you can put on, Instagram. You can put on, you can use it for your website. If you go to a free engagement shoot with somebody, yeah, you didn't get paid. Yeah, you got to work for it afterwards. It is work. But now you have an engagement shoot to send to couples, Yeah. So, something we did early on is, we wouldn't take weddings if they weren't in the budget. If they asked for $200 off, we're just we just had our prices set. We weren't flexible. We didn't negotiate. So just, be willing to negotiate, be willing to drop your price, be willing to create custom stuff, just get the work. Because, working with somebody is going to lead to more stuff, inevitably.
Right. Yeah, one of the biggest tips as well that was given to me in the course that I was going through, full-time filmmaker, is be a pleasure to work with. Because most people, maybe not most, but a lot of people in the industry are not. They're kind of hard to work with, and they're just kind of really set in their ways and this is how much I charge, and they're just kind of snooty. If you can not be that way and just be a really genuine, nice person and easy and fun to work with, you'll be light years ahead of the others.
Light years. And it's such a simple concept, but it's so true because, if you just go out of your way, it will make your own life better. If you're just joyful in conversing with people, if you just always try to keep, your relationships positive and not cause drama ever with people you're working with, you just be honest with people, be upfront, be pleasant to be with, I don't know, just be yourself, be a light. If you're not a light, don't be yourself. But, just be fun to work with because that's going to show more than anything. I could deliver a video that's way worse, but if I had a fun time and, was nice to the couple, made a relationship, I could send it to them and they're going to be happy because they loved us. They love it, Yeah. Hopefully I'm not sending, a bad video, but I'm not saying that. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
They're going to remember the experience with you.
Yeah.
And when somebody asks for a recommendation, they're not going to remember what camera and what gear and how expensive stuff was. They're not going to remember that you're a gearhead and knew so much about your camera. They're going to remember how you made them feel that day. And that's it. That's going to be the difference on who they recommend to somebody.
Totally.
Yep.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Aaron, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll talk to you again.
Yeah. Once we turn the headsets off.